welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols.
Oh, man, it is good to see you. How the heck are you?
I am great, and your enthusiasm is just amazing.
Well, I do what I can. I try to be exciting and enthusiastic. Of course, sometimes it's fake it till you make it. But,
Sure.
I don't know. I've always found that I'm drawn to people that are exciting, energetic, positive, fun-loving, easy to get along with. And so I try and do that. I don't know that I always succeed, but it is a goal.
You do well.
Well, thank you. But I want to talk about something today, and it's not exciting. We have, our school district has been hit hard in the last week with loss, with death. We had a coworker of ours. Her husband passed away suddenly, unexpectedly. If I read between the lines, I think he died of a heart attack.
Okay.
A young man. Younger than us, I believe. So yes, surprise. And the other was a graduate of ours from a year ago died in a traffic accident.
So terrible.
And so two deaths in the span of less than a week. And
I feel like over the last, so I've been here for 3 years, right? And I feel like we've had a number of other incidents over the past 3 years where former students or, people who are our colleagues or,
yes,
it's been fairly frequent.
Sad but true.
So,
well, that's right.
And it's a reminder that life is short, right?
True. So. Yeah, as you say that, we had that middle school teacher that died, a month ago of a traffic accident again. So it brought me to something that I had a conversation with my mom when my dad passed away, it's been over a year now. And we were talking about it then, and I was reminded of my own experiences. Our family suffered a lot of big losses. Now, it's been a while, but we went through a stretch where it seemed like, my Lord, our family, my sisters and I, we were just reeling from one major loss after another.
Right.
And I spent a lot of time researching, learning how to better deal with loss. And one of my classes that I had, and it's been a couple of years ago already, was also part of the class dealt with how do you help people deal with grief, deal with loss. Right. And loss is all kinds of things. It's not just loss like you lose a family member. All right, you lose a spouse, you lose a child.
Sure.
Loss can be your pet. If you've grown up, you spent, 18 years with a pet, their loss can be significant. Loss can be a job. When I got basically fired from the school I was working at as a consequence of my divorce, that hurt.
Yeah.
When I got divorced, that hurt.
Yeah, I think you could describe loss as anything that is a change that is like permanent. Right? It's not going to be reversed. For the most part, you get divorced, you're not going to get back together. So that love relationship is lost. And you probably invested a lot of time in that, and it's not coming back. And you have a friend or a relative or anybody in your life who passes away, they're not coming back. So all you're left with is memories, right? And you can't. It's difficult to go forward sometimes. So anything that is permanent, right? There is a change that's permanent to the point where you can't get back to what it was. That's a loss.
And I think, again, just a fresh reminder. I'm sure everybody's heard of the Kubler-Ross 5 stages of grief of denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through all 5 of those. The worst probably was when Eric died.
Yeah.
And I didn't go through all 5 of them in order.
Sure.
And some took longer to go through than others.
And some might have been at the exact same time.
Yes, and I revisited some of them more than once.
Sure.
So, I mean, and nobody goes through those 5 stages. What's interesting is there's another scale. The Kubler-Ross has been around since the late 60s, and most people are most familiar with those 5 stages, but I ran across in my research another scale, and I thought, well, this is because it built off of them, and
Right.
instead of 5, it had 7. And the first, again, these aren't in any particular order, but the first one was shock and denial,
Right.
where you are in a state of disbelief and numb feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next one is pain and guilt, where you feel that the loss is unbearable and that you're making other people's lives harder because of your own feelings and your own needs.
Yeah.
Then there's the anger and bargaining, where you lash out. You may even tell God or whatever higher power you believe in that you'll do anything, that you'll grant any wish they demand if they would simply fix the problem.
Sure.
Then, of course, there's the depression, that period of isolation and loneliness during which you process and reflect on that loss.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the upward turn, where they say that at this point, the stages of grief like anger and pain have died down, and you're left in a more calm and relaxed state. I'm still waiting on that one. And then reconstruction and working through. You can begin to put the pieces of your life back together and move forward.
Yeah.
I say that tongue in cheek, but those last 2 have come over the last few years for me.
Yeah.
But Eric's been gone since 2011.
Wow.
So we're coming up on 13 years this October, and it's tough. It's
yeah.
When you lose a loved one, and again, that can be a family member, it can be, a pet. It's natural for you to want to comfort. I think one of the biggest things is our reaction to somebody else.
Right.
We have our own issues. You lose a spouse, you lose a parent, you lose a child, you lose a pet, you lose a job. You've got your own issues, but when you're seeing somebody else go through that, well, you've got a whole different approach.
Yeah.
And I think that when you go through it, you go through your own ways. But what I want to focus on today is when you're on the outside looking in. It didn't directly happen to you, all right? When our coworker's husband died of a heart attack, that we're on the outside looking in. When the kid who graduated from here last year, when he died, that didn't happen to us. Again, we're on the outside looking in. And so when you're that person, what do? Because that's an uncomfortable feeling for most of us.
I think that's a good point, right? My wife recently this spring lost her father, right? Who she had for many years been estranged from due to divorce in their family, right? So that's she had gotten closer to her father, and suddenly now he's gone. And so she's been dealing with, lots of grief associated with that. And it's died down a little bit. So she's, probably moved on to one of those latter stages rather quickly. But she, all I could do was be there to support, right? I mean, I wasn't particularly close to her dad. Certainly respect him as her dad. Visited him, seen him, talked to him. I mean, was there for some of the last days of his life and helping, him move around the house and do some other things. But we were there in a limited capacity, and I was just there to support whatever it was that she needed. And I got to admit, I was at a loss. I mean, we'd gone through the death of our mother almost 20 years before now, so 19 years ago. So, and I struggled to even understand how I should approach that, right? And I knew her much better than I knew her dad. And then there's some other, we've been dealing with, people with cancer in the family that are, having some kind of terminal cancer diagnosis. We don't know how long they're going to be here, and they could be here for years. But you're beginning to deal with, this may be inevitable. So those are some real feelings, and I'm oftentimes on the outside now. Years ago, my sister died, so I was a little bit more on the inside on that one. But I was young, and so I probably didn't understand nearly as much. Certainly, lots of grief associated with that, but that's 30 plus years ago now, so it's not hitting me as hard. Although I still miss her, obviously, but she's been gone a long time. But trying to respond to people, right? It's awkward.
It is,
right? It's like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I feel like almost anything I say could be offensive or hurtful. Or what, and you just don't know what to do. And I feel like for me, sometimes silence and just being there, present, is all I can do. So I'm interested to hear, like, what is it that we can actually do?
Well, the hardest thing, and again, I did a lot of work on this one, because this one really hit close to home.
Yeah.
Because I know from my own experiences, but I go back to my very first teaching experience. I had my very first teaching gig back in 91-92 school year.
Yeah.
And I was working with elementary kids, first grade, second grade. And we had a young girl, one of the kids that I specifically worked with, because I was a special ed para.
Yeah.
And she was at school on Thursday, was absent from school on Friday. We come, because she was sick, come to school on Monday and discovered she had died.
Oh, my goodness.
And to talk to a bunch of 6-year-olds about their classmate and death was a huge challenge. And so it's always been something of an interest to me. But one of the key things is for us to be, when we're on the outside looking in, trying to comfort others, it's deeds, not words. To not be judgmental.
Right.
That are, to avoid what you were saying, how to say, a lot of times we can say or do things that are awkward. It's not meant to be, but we're uncomfortable. And so we do things that are more to help us feel less comfortable.
I think we try to fill the silence.
Yes.
And oftentimes that comes off as something that shouldn't have been said or doesn't need to be said.
Well, and thank you. And that's kind of where I was wanting to go with this, is because our job is to help console them, not judge them. And even if they look like they got it under control, I can say from personal experience, that is a mask. I tried to play like I had it under control when Eric was killed, but I did not. And for years, I did not.
I truly don't know how you've come out of that as a sane person, but
well,
when I think of the loss I might have experienced in my life or in the loved ones' lives close to me, it just all very much pales in comparison to your experience?
Well, it came in waves. The first loss was getting basically fired from my teaching job, followed by the divorce, followed by then Eric's murder. And it was just kind of like one body blow after another, and each one more devastating than the other. But it was a lot of support and people doing some of the things that are on these lists of what to do versus what not to do.
I think that one of the things that makes it so hard, right, is that these are situations where you are out of control. Right? Not that you're out of control, but you are not in control of what's taking place.
Yes.
Right? You are not in control of losing your job. You are not in control necessarily of your divorce, and you were definitely not in control of the situation that led to your son being murdered.
Yeah.
I mean, those are things that like we're out of control as these things take place, and how to respond to that, because you can't fix it. You can't. It's permanent. You can't go back. That makes it even harder.
And so I guess it is because of this that I'm drawn to this topic. And like I say, with all the recent events that have been happening here in our school district, I wanted to kind of broach this. And like I say, it comes down to deeds, not words.
Right.
Because a lot of times words are hollow things. And so I was sharing this with my mom, and she said, well, that's funny. The priest that came and visited with her was a new to their parish. And he had shared some of these very things with my mom, but things to not say. Okay. And I've got a list of them here. All right. But things to say: you'll get through it. Just be strong. Or, well, they're in a better place now. It's been a while since they passed. Why aren't you over it yet? Well, they lived a long time. At least they didn't die young. Or, and this is one that I just wanted to punch people in the nose my mom said this to me, and I didn't want to hear this. God must have wanted them there because they were such a good person. Or, I know exactly how you feel. My ass, you sure as hell don't.
Right.
Well, I guess it was their time to go. Or, everything happens for a reason and life does go on. Or, it was God's plan.
Right.
And sometimes his plan just doesn't make sense to us. Or, your loved one would want you to go on. And I will say that this is commonly said because most people are very uncomfortable with your sadness.
Right.
And then, of course, well, cherish the good memories because they're going to bring you peace. Well, you know what? It's the freaking memories. All right. It's these memories that are causing me so dang much pain.
Yeah.
So right now, it's hard for me to focus. So please back that train up. And then lastly, a distraction. Hey, did you see that ball game last night?
Sure.
I mean, so
change the topic. Right? Yeah. I don't want to deal with your awkwardness, so we're gonna talk about something else.
I mean, again, these are things. Please don't say these things.
I think all of these things to me seem obvious, right? It's like okay, so Captain Obvious, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for telling me your useless information that I already knew. So again, I think that this comes from a place of just trying to fill the void, the silence, the awkwardness that exists, and it's my awkwardness, right? Between me and the person who is dealing with the grief. I mean, whereas maybe me being just silent and listening and offering myself to hear whatever that person might want to say or not say might be better.
But how many times have you been to a funeral? Have you been to a wake? Have you been to a situation where trying to console somebody and you've heard those kinds of comments?
Oh, these are cliches that you hear all the time, right?
And these are the kinds of things. I will say that, okay, may sound kind of corny. I am a huge Harry Potter fan.
Okay.
And in book 5, Harry Potter loses his godfather at the end of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going through, again, the stages of grief, and people are trying to comfort and console him. And he makes a comment. And when I first read it, I didn't really get it. But after Eric had died, I felt what Harry felt as it was described in the book. And at the end, or when he's going through the grief of his uncle dying, his godfather, he was, as he said, when I'm around people, I want to be by myself. And when I'm by myself, I want to be around people.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know what you want. And in looking through this, and it's deeds. And I keep telling, I know I've said this, but it's the things that you do that might be more important than the things that you say. For example, you just come over, and again, I experienced this. You want to know how I got through it? Well, those first few weeks, those first few months, people just came over and did things.
Mm-hmm.
They did laundry.
Sure.
They would go to the grocery store. They went so far as packing up Eric's bedroom so that I didn't have to. We had an estate sale. I had a fantastic friend come, and she and her family literally went through the house and boxed everything up, put tags on it, made it all ready for an estate sale.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do a thing. These were, mowing the yard.
Yeah.
These were things that people did that, sounds so kind of silly, but, if you want to say something, I can't imagine what you're going through. I'm so sorry for your loss. I don't know what to say. I wish I had the right words to comfort you. You, your family, your loved ones, they will be in my thoughts and prayers. She was so nice to me. One of my favorite memories was, and then whatever that memory might be, whenever you want to talk, I'm just a phone call away. They were so wonderful. They will be missed by so many people. I am your friend. I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
How about just a hug? Can I give you a hug? I don't have the right words to say, but I just want to give you a hug.
Sure.
Sometimes, again, like you were saying, just be there. You don't have to say anything. Just sit beside them,
right?
Hold their hand, put your arm around them, show them comfort. All right. One of the things that I can say from personal experience, I had people always reaching out to me. And this is one of the suggestions. Keep reaching out to that person. Even if they don't respond right away, keep going because they're in their own version of hell.
Yeah.
And so stick with them. Keep reaching out because they will respond, and encourage that person to share memories.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people do that. Saying, hey, I remember Eric. People I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
When my dad died, it was really neat. People coming up and saying, hey, let me tell you the story about your dad.
Right.
When Charlie comes, we had Charlie as a guest here. And when he comes and he talks to our kids, he tells stories about his dad. And it's a way of him helping deal with the loss of his father.
Sure.
There's no one size fits all way to deal or to help somebody. Everybody's going to be a little different. Each situation is going to be a little different. because we all go through grief in our own way.
Right.
But it's deeds. Stay away from those platitudes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Grief is a tough thing because you're right. It's awkward for us. It's awkward for us going through it and how to deal with people around us.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? Their life isn't a living hell. And when you're on the outside looking in, you don't want them to feel the pain, but how do you help them?
Right.
How do you ease their grief and provide that comfort?
I think that's one of the things that I see, particularly in the community that we're in now, right? I mean, right away, there was text groups opening up for these recent tragedies where people were organizing meal trains for those who are grieving, where there's needs that come up. I mean, we had another person in a different school district, right, who lost their house to a fire suddenly, and there was an immediate call for helping the family, right, with practical things. They lost their clothing, right? They need T-shirts, they need clothing, whatever you got. Here's where you can donate it. The practical, meeting people's practical needs, like you're saying, is really important, right? It frees them up to work through the other things, right? To not have to focus on, because it's hard, right? When you're dealing with grief, it's hard, and I can only imagine, right? To use one of your phrases, right? What you would go through. Even in just reflecting on talking about it now, right? I mean, so, but when you can be freed up from the daily minutia of things you need to do to be able to work through it, that's super helpful to people in that time. And that outpouring and showing of love and care is really what they need. Right? They need to know that people do care. People still care about them. People are there to meet the need that maybe that other person used to meet, right, in some way. And so, I mean, actions are super important. I think you can see that throughout all kinds of history and religion and counseling groups. I mean, we as a people, as a human race, right? We seek interaction and we seek that love and kindness from others. And we need that most when we are in our darkest hours.
And that's where, when you don't know what to say or do, then, hey, let me babysit while you go out.
Sure.
Let me, let me come over and mow your yard. It sounds something silly, but when one of the guys I played Magic the Gathering with, he passed away, and for, I don't know, maybe 6 months, there was all of us guys that play cards, we all took turns mowing his widow's yard.
I think one of the extraordinary things about the time that we live in, and there's lots of technology. We've talked about ways that some things that exist may be not as great right anymore because of social media and some other things, but there are technology that's helpful, right? Like, even if you are far away from a loved one who is dealing with grief, you can still do things like order groceries and have them delivered to their house. Right? Send them a gift card for something,
to a restaurant, to DoorDash.
I mean, there's all sorts of ways now that we have to provide for needs, even if we're thousands of miles away, and show that love to that other person.
Well, I know we're running up against our clock, but a couple of things that I know people, again, it may be common sense, but everybody processes grief in their own ways, and it can take a long time, and you don't get over loss. I mean, my dad was sick for a very long time, and I think everyone was relieved to some extent when he passed away because of his quality of life. But he and my mom were married for 64 years. And even though it's been over a year, she still is grieving.
Of course.
I mean, she spent most of her life with this man, and trying to put the pieces together to move on from that has been a challenge for her. And, you know, the idea of, will you still deal with that? Why are you still dealing with that? We all grieve in different ways. And, you know, like I said, it'll be 13 years this October that Eric passed away.
Yeah.
And I still grieve. Not the same way, but I still grieve.
Sure.
And if you're wanting to be that true friend, then you're there side by side with them through the entire journey, however long it takes.
Absolutely. I think that, and I was just thinking while you were speaking that probably one of the greatest ways I can think of to help somebody else deal with grief is to allow them to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? To let them go through that, let them deal with it, and not try to shorten it or bring in my own understanding and see if they can get over it faster. No, let them complete the whole process in whatever time frame they need to complete it.
One of the perks,
that's the healing that needs to take place.
Oh, totally agree. One of the things that I loved about our divorce group that I'm very angry that COVID killed was everybody was there to support each other, because one of the most common responses from family members was, aren't you over that yet? It's been 6 months. Get over it. He's a dirtbag. She's a cow. Move forward, you know?
Right.
But with the group, it's kind of like, look, we're all here. We've been there, done that, got the t-shirt to prove it. And so we will be non-judgmental. We know that this is not something that you can just put a Band-Aid on and move forward. It is painful.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea that, I don't know, I really enjoyed that aspect of our divorce group, because it could take you a long, long time.
Okay.
I mean, we had people that would come for years to help process the divorce.
Yeah.
So anyway, grief is tough. And the worst part is being on the outside looking in. And so hopefully, again, some of these phrases of things to avoid, things to maybe consider instead, can help all of us deal with our own uncomfortable, awkward feelings of helping somebody through a very difficult and grieving situation.
Agreed.
Well,
it's a good topic. Well, something everybody will go through.
Sad but true. It is a part of that circle of life.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, that was a downer from how I started out.
It's an important topic, though. So, I mean, people need to understand how to deal with that, and they need to understand that if they're dealing with the grief directly, right? Like, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfectly acceptable, and you need to work it through.
That is correct. So we will be friends for those who need the help using some of these examples.
Yes.
All right. Well, then I will try something more upbeat next time.
Oh, I'm sure we'll do that.
So, well, then until next time, I'm Rod.
I'm Scott.
See ya.
Have a good one.